A very good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back to day 74 of our online Pali reading class. I would like to give a reminder in order for me to
Good evening, Bhante.
yes, comfortably call your name. Please rename your name is on the short name over here. You can rename your Zoom name. Okay, so let's get started by paying respect to them. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Today we are going to discuss another Dhammapada verse. This is going to be verse number 50. We have almost been completing 50 verses by the end of today. So this stanza is about something very interesting in handling our life. So let's take a look at the stanza. Again, Uppavaka flowers, but you don't see a flower over here. There's no flowers. There's no any name of flower, but in the story we can see certain flowers that is given to the story. Na parisang vilumani, na parisang katakatan, attanova avikkeya katani katani. Once again. Na parisang vilumani, na parisang katakatan, attanova avikkeya katani akatani. Right, so we'll be asking groups to read. First of all, group 1. Please raise your virtual hand. Anyone from group 1? If not, group 2. Yes, may I, please.
Na parasam vilomani, na parasam kata.
Not parasam, parisam.
Na parisam kata katam. Atano wa avekeya, katani akatani cha.
Would you like to read again with that change?
Na parisam vilomani, na parisam kata katam. Atano wa avekeya, atakani akatani cha.
Okay, great. And group 3. Yes, Chupin, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Na parisang vilomani, na parisang katakatang. Atano wa avekeya, katani akatani cha.
Okay, great. And
Thank you, Bhante.
keep it on.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Na parisang vilomani, na parisang katakatang, atano wa avekaya, katani akatani cha.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 5. Yes. Yes, Melinda, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Na parisam vilomani, na parisam katakatam, atano wa avikkeya, katani akatani cha. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
And group 6. Someone from group 6. Yeah, simple. Okay.
Na parisam vinomani, na parisam kata katanova awikeya, katani akadani che.
Hey, great. And group 7. Aliana, yes.
Na paresang vilomani, na paresang katang katang, atano wa awikeya, katani akatani che.
Okay, great. And group 8. Yes. Oh, there are 2 who would like to go. Yes. Okay. We'll be given the chance to do this later. Yes, Champa.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Na parisam vilomani. Na parisam kata katam. Atanova avekeya katani akatani che.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And we are giving the chance to others. We'll be asking perhaps Doris to start. Yes, Doris. Doris, can you hear us? Okay, we'll be asking then Go.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Na parisam bilomani, na parisam kata katang, atanoa avekia, katani akatani che.
Okay, great. And 9 chains. Yeah,
Good evening, Bhante.
good evening.
Na parisang vilomani, na parisang kata katang, at hanover avikeya, katani akatani che.
Okay, great. And what you want?
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Na paresang bilomani, na paresang kata katam. Atanowa avekeya, katani akatani che.
Great. And
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Na paresang vilomani, na paresang kata katang. Atano wa avekeya, katani akatani che.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And then we have Lisa.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Ne parasam vilomani, ne parasam kata katam. Atanu va avekaya, katani akatani che.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Margaret. Yes. Yes, good evening.
Na paresam vilomani, na paresam kata katam. Atano va avekeya, katani akatani che.
Great, and then him.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bhante, is my
Yes,
turn.
Emma. Emma,
Okay,
yes,
na paresam vilomani, na paresam kata katam. Atano wa avekeya, katani akatani che.
okay, great.
Thank you.
And Doris. Doris, we cannot hear you. Perhaps you can plug out and then plug in. Okay, till we hear from Doris, we will be asking Susie. Yeah, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening. Yes.
Na paresang vilomani, na paresang kata katang. Atano va avekeya, katani akatani che.
Okay, great. And perhaps we can ask Selina. Selina's birthday is today. Selina Bong, are you here with us? Okay. If not, anybody else? Luis, anybody else? Yeah, still, I think we can't hear you. Yeah. Anyways, maybe you can figure out slowly. Anybody else who would like to read this stanza? Seems at the moment there's no one, so we will be looking at the stanza.
Bhante, Suzanne raised her hand, physical hand. Suzanne?
Susie, I think you did read, right? Just now?
Suzanne.
Suzanne, Bhante, it was me. I can't.
Oh, Suzanne. Okay, please.
Yeah, good evening,
Please.
Bhante. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to be back in class.
Yeah, please. Yes.
I couldn't see my hand, my virtual hand. So anyway.
Yeah, it's okay. Please.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ne parisam vilomani, ne parisam kata katam, atanova avekeya, katani, akatani cha.
Okay, great.
Thank
and
you.
Suzanne was coming from a surgery, and I think she's back to normal. And yes, so we are happy that you are back here after this. In the meantime, she asked a Dhamma name. And she got the Dhamma name called Sama, peace.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Okay, interesting.
you.
Okay, we will be looking at the stanza now. Na paresang vilomani, na paresang kata katang. Attanova avikkeya katanya katanja. Now, this is very interesting about how to deal with negativity in our life, and then how to make it positive. You can see. Now, the verb is what you call implied, the dwell on part. Vilomani. What is vilomani? Vilomani means accusations, false charges, things like that. Now, these are the things that other people may do to us for different reasons, for legitimate reasons or illegitimate reasons. Paresam, others, accusation, others, false about you. And na paresam. So when somebody is accusing you for something that you haven't done, that you are not a part of it, and the Buddha is asking, do not dwell on such accusations, false. Viloma. And the paresam kata kata. Kata akata. You can see here, kata means have, kata means haven't. Have done or haven't done. Kata and akata. So A is a part of this combination. The paresam kata. At the same time, do not dwell on what others have or haven't done. Do not dwell on the faults of others, the faults that are directed upon us, and do not dwell on what others have or have not done. Instead of that, attano va avekkeya. Attano means, Pali atta means oneself, right? Attano va avekkeya. Avekkeya means reflect, look at about you, look at oneself, look at yourself, instead of dwelling upon other people's things about you, especially any charges or things that other people have done or haven't done. Instead of both of them, try to look at what you have done. Katani akatani cha avikkeya. Attano katani akatani cha avikkeya. reflect, look at your own actions, which you have done, which you haven't done. So why is this important? It's more towards the moments that we are going through in terms of other people's what you call pressure, and then other people's probably the way of treating us. Now we have a lot of stories about that. Even if you look at Dhamma things, remember Bhadavagiya story. The Bhadavagiya, there were many royal youngsters actually. They went on a what you call a camping tour. And what happened to them when they went to the tour? One of the royal boys' belongings were stolen by somebody. And now they were looking for who stole that. At that point, they met the Buddha on the way. And then they asked the Buddha, was there somebody like this who left this area? And then the Buddha asked the question, what is more important? Is it looking at what other people done, or is it looking at what you have done? Actually, what you have done led to what that person have done to you. So Buddha is asking all the time to look at oneself. It does not mean that there are no provisions in Buddhism to look at what other people do, but more towards what one has done. That's a reflection. This reflection is very important because it's kind of a what do you call internalizing what is happening in my life, what's going on in my life. Even somebody blames you. What are the occasions, examples where we see somebody was blamed in the different stories of Buddhist texts? Would you remember those stories? There are many stories. And think about how Buddha handled all that. And think about how different monks and Sangha members went through these things. And think about some other lay people went through the blame. Now, say for instance, the lay person called Atula, A-U-T-A-L-A. Atula was a donor, a big donor to the temple. So one day, Atula went to the Buddha's temple, presumably Jetvanarama, and then on the way he met one monk. They say different names. One monk was what you call Revata. He was one of the famous monks who would give Dhamma talks in an attractive way. And then what happened after they invited monk Revata to give a Dhamma talk? He gave a Dhamma talk, but Atula and his crowd was not happy about the Dhamma talk, saying that it was too short. It was a very short, very, very short Dhamma sharing. So then they approach another monk. They approach Venerable Ananda, the Buddha's ministering monk, and then ask him, we are here to listen to a Dhamma talk. Can you please give a Dhamma talk? And then Venerable Ananda gave a very lengthy Dhamma talk, which is very famous for remembering a lot of suttas. As you know, Digha Nikaya, the first book of Sutta Pitaka, coming from Venerable Ananda and his monks, disciples, tradition. So, Upasaka Atula and his crowd were not happy as well, because saying that this Dhamma talk is too long actually, could not really focus on that. And then they approach Venerable Sariputta, the first disciple of the Buddha. And then Venerable Sariputta was popular and then reputed for talking Abhidhamma. Right? And then Venerable Sariputta gave a Dhamma talk from Abhidhamma about ultimate realities, Chitta, Chetasika, Rupa, Nibbana, and all that. And then they could not understand it because their mindset was not very deep enough to understand that. And they were not happy. And then they went to the Buddha. when Buddha was giving a Dhamma talk, he is not preoccupied. That's the most important thing in giving a Dhamma talk. Now, when you invite a Sangha member to a temple, you are asking, Bhante, what topic are you going to talk about? And you are preparing a talk to yourself. And when the Bhante is going there, he understands this is not the right crowd for me to talk about that topic. Right? They are not that not good. I can't say not good. They are not the right audience for that. Because when we go to different places, we understand audience is different. So then what happened? Maybe the audience is new to this kind of thing. Maybe the audience has not learned a lot of similar Dhamma talks, similar Dhamma area. Maybe they might have listened to like something very simple, So when the Buddha was giving a Dhamma talk, he is not preoccupied. He looks at the whims and fancies of the person who is in the audience. Why are you here? And then thinking, what could be a good talk to this particular person? Finally, that Dhamma talk, this particular Dhamma talk has to trigger this person's happiness. Right? Maybe you are listening to many Dhamma talk. It has to trigger your life and it has to give you the green light to practice certain things. Otherwise, you are not going to make it happen in you. Right? Think about 1,000 Dhamma talks you've been listening up to now. And looking at all this database of Dhamma talks, how these Dhamma talks have been really helping you. Not saying that we are not happy, rather than looking at the pragmatic, practical aspect of the Dhamma talks. So then the Buddha understood Atula does not need a short Dhamma talk. He doesn't need a long Dhamma talk. He doesn't need a lot of deep Dhamma things. What he wants is something that is suitable for his mindset at the moment. He was kind of frustrated now. Now he's already frustrated. Now normally people are going to the Dhamma talk being frustrated in their life. Now this Atula and crowd was frustrated about Dhamma talks and then went to find out a better Dhamma talk. Right? So Buddha understood, okay, how to approach you and your people. I have to understand your frustration. And then to walk them out of that frustration, he was thinking to give a Dhamma talk about. Nobody is free from blame in this world. That was his Dhamma talk. That was the sort of epiphany that he had with the crowd when he went to different monks. So Buddha said, you want to hear Dhamma talk? The Dhamma talk is nobody is free from blame. Everybody is subject to blames, including myself, the Buddha said. So he understood. So the Dhamma talk was the answer to his frustration finally. And he understood the answer to the frustration. Right? So this is why when any criticism is arising, has been arising, already arisen, the way how Buddha and other, especially in this case the Buddha, approach was such a very healthy, wholesome perspective. Now let's say when you are dealing with a lot of negative people in your place, workplace, company, family, on the road, you have to understand what kind of a customizable approach that I'm going to put out there for this person. I cannot deal with them in the normal way. I have to probably step out of my comfort zone and think about what could be a better way, a Buddhist way to deal with this kind of person. Because I cannot walk out from these people, right? I cannot walk away as well. Why? They are my family. They are my people, daily people, everyday people. So how to deal with them? Maybe I'm not very aware about certain Buddhist approaches to deal with this particular person. That is why I only know some very hardcore Dhamma teachers about Nibbana, Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, Patisamuppada, but I don't know how to bring them into normal life. That's why I'm struggling. So I had to find out a practical way to put them into a practical way. Because finally we are not living in the hardcore Dhamma, we are living in the practical life. So Dhamma has to be practical to that, not in the books as they were meant to be, right? So then you are thinking the Buddha's way. Now Buddha found out the best Dhamma talk for you is not new Dhamma, I'm going to give you a Dhamma talk about the blame that you are putting out to different monks is commonplace. It's a generic thing. Everybody is a part of that experience. So when you understand that, that itself be your Dhamma talk. This is one place to understand how did the Buddha handle negativity. Other places, think about today's story. I think we'll be going to that story. Maybe we can look at the story now, and then we can discuss the rest of the things through the story. What is the story today? You can see here. Ajivaka. Ajivaka is a certain wanderer, certain ascetic person at that time. Paveya. His name is Patika. Paveya Patika. Patika. What does Patika mean actually? Patika means someone, we could say that someone who is a passenger. At the same time, this Ajivaka man had a certain different perspective in his Ajivaka philosophy. Now you might be wondering, what is Ajivaka? Okay, Ajivaka is a very famous philosophy during the Buddha's time or even the pre-Buddhist time. I think you know the teachers and their philosophies that were existing during the Buddha's time and before the Buddha's time, right? I think if you don't know, perhaps I have to give that first and then we will discuss. So, you know, in India, the oldest books, oldest religious perspectives were Vedas, Vedas and Brahmanas. So this dates back to 1500 years, 1500 years before the Buddha's time. So the Vedas were written approximately, when scholars have no consensus about that, approximately 1500 years before. So then what the Vedas are telling us that Vedas say that they have different stages of people's belief. One thing is that first the people believed at that time every phenomenon is a part of a certain god. Let's say wind. Wind is not a natural phenomenon. Wind is a god. So they call it Marut god, Marut, M-A-R-U-T. And they were looking at rain, R-A-I-N. This is not rain. This is Parjanya. Parjanya is a god. That god is the one who is sending showers to us. When Parjanya is angry, we are not getting rain. So, I mean, that's how they look at it, you know. And then they look at sun. They understood sun has three gods. One is the early morning one. I would say the dawn time. They call it Ushas, is a female god, Ushas. And then the morning sun, they call it Surya. So Ushas, Surya. And then the afternoon sun, not the nice one, right? Savitru. In Sanskrit, they say the morning sun and afternoon sun are related to two people, grateful person, ungrateful person. So it's very interesting. They say the morning sun starting from, what do you call, tiny little, maybe gradual way. I mean, starting from small sun and then it becomes big by the end of the morning. So it's like a very interesting relationship, friendship that we are building in our life. Good relationships don't happen very fast, right? It happens slowly, gradually, and then it will become a very massive tree. What about the afternoon sun? It starts from lots of rays, right? Sunlight is so scorching by that time, 12 o'clock. And then by 5, 6, that sunlight is going away. It's like an ungrateful relationship. Start very big, but then it will finish very fast as well, right? So that's what some of the wisdom that we find out in Hinduism say. So anyways, Hindu people believed earlier that there are gods, devas, for particular natural nature things. And then they found out that there are no many gods and there is one god. They call it, that god is Mahabrahma. Mahabrahma is the one God. So by this time, the Veda philosophy has been evolving. Veda, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. When it comes to Aranyaka, Upanishad time, what happened was that people in India thought, no, it is not the God who can give things to us. Perhaps there is something within our self. So we have to find out our own self. This is how the, what you call, ascetic practices started coming in. So Buddhism is part of that ascetic practices actually. So then you can say the Veda, Brahmana practices, and then ascetic practices. So during the time ascetic practices were going to start, maybe were happening, there were 6 main teachers that were having lots of students by that time. One of the teachers was what you call Purana Kassapa, then Makkali Gosala, Ajita Kesa Kambala, then Pakuda Kachai, Sanjay Bellatiputta, Nigantanath. They are very reputed, well-reputed teachers who had thousand students actually, very reputed teachers. But still the Buddhism was not there. So that's why people think, even the scholars think, Buddhism came from Jainism. Jainism means this is the only philosophy out of these 6 traditions that has a sort of relevance to Buddhism. They believed karma. They said karma is very important. But their karma was very extreme karma. Right? And even you look up on internet, the leader of the Jainism is called Jaina, Mahavira. And you won't be surprised that Jaina Mahavira's face is like the Buddha. Exactly the Buddha. And you won't discriminate, you won't distinguish Buddha and Mahavira. I mean, if we say, for instance, if you go for a photo of Mahavira, I think I have to show you, then you will understand the similarity. And this is not another Buddha. This is Mahavira. You can see. This is Mahavira. Can go to that. See, exactly the Buddha, right? But he is not the Buddha. You can see Mahavira was the 24th Tirthankara of the Jainism. So now, what does this mean actually? This means that Jainism was the closest ascetic tradition that helped Buddhism to start off. But among these 6, you can find out one called Makkali Gosala. His name is Makkali Gosala, second one. So this Makkali Gosala was a teacher who promoted determinism. What is the determinism? Determinism means he said to people that everything is pre-planned. Okay? Everything is pre-planned. We have karma, but karma also pre-planned. Like in today's world also, we have some probably seemingly Makkali Gosala's followers. I mean, they believe that everything is pre-planned. My fate, my luck, my luck. Then you have to be, you perhaps could be a follower of the Makkali Gosala. Because Makkali Gosala said that everything is determined. Then actually in one of his books, he's talking, it's like a thread. When the thread is like, okay, let loose, then what happened? Finally, the thread will stop at a certain place. That's the end. And there are no karmas after that. So this is what you call determinism. And Buddha rejected this determinism. Why is it? Buddha said, not everything happens out of karma. And also, Buddha said, not everything is predetermined. We are not predetermined. 100%. We have karmas that we have to go through, but not everything is predetermined. If we are predetermined, then why are we doing Dhamma? For what? What's the purpose of learning Dhamma? Let's wait and see. Let's wait and go through the good and bad. So, then let me tell you why I'm mentioning all these things, 6 teachers and Makkali Gosala and then his philosophy. Why today's story is going around this particular person called Ajivaka. So Ajivakas are the followers of the Makkali Gosala. Ajivakas are the follower of the Makkali. So Ajivakas were started by Makkali Gosala. So these Ajivakas are predetermined people. I mean, they always believed that everything is predetermined. That's why actually this belief was even used by James as well, the Nigantas, because they believed that they had a different belief closely to this one. One day the Buddha was going through a certain place, and then he saw a lot of Jains, follower of the Mahavira, not the Ajivakas. And then Buddha saw that they were exposing to sunlight during the noon, and they were naked, and they were not eating, and they have not been taking showers. And then the Buddha asked, "What are you doing?" And Buddha know what they are doing, but he was asking to make a question. He said, "Venerable Gautama, we are finishing our bad karma, paying back to our bad karmas." That's a nice thing. Huh? How many of you have thought that dukkha is always there? Let's get ready. Let's pay back the dukkha now. Dukkha that is coming to happen in the next 10 years. How many of you have thought like that? Mahavira's followers think like that. Not? Let's pay back the cost of our bad karma earlier. So then in another couple of years, we can be happy. Then Buddha asked, how much bad karma have you already neutralized, weakened? They said, we don't know. But we think that most of the bad karmas have been mitigated, weakened by our efforts. Right? And then Buddha did not want to have an argument with those people. He never wanted to argue with people. He was finding the right person to talk Dhamma. Right? So now this one of the Ajivakas who followed Makkali Gosala is Partika Ajivaka. Now, this is the name. Another way is Paveya Ajivaka or Partika Ajivaka. Say Paveya Ajivaka. So what happened? There was a lady, and this lady was closely associating one Ajivaka. It's like one Buddhist devotee is associating a Buddhist monk, maybe a chief monk somewhere. So every time when she wants to decide something, she asks from this Ajivaka. You can say she is the follower of the Ajivaka, whether it is a good thing to do or not good thing. One day, she overheard from her neighbors who came back from the Buddhist temple, Jitanarama, after hearing a Dhamma talk from the Buddha. That Dhamma talk was beautiful and then really timely and beneficial to us. So she overheard. So then she wanted to go to the temple, Buddhist temple, and then she went to see this Ajivaka, Pave Ajivaka, and let him know, I want to go to the Buddhist temple to listen to the Buddha. He said, no need, just stay home, this is not necessary, right? And then she said, no, I really want to go. It's not necessary. You just follow Ajivaka philosophy, this determinism. But she was not happy. So then she had a plan. The plan is, if my guru, my teacher, doesn't like me to go to the Buddhist temple, then I should devise a plan. The plan is, I ask my son to go to the temple, invite the Buddha to come over to my house. Right? And then what happened when she came back home? She told her son, can you go to the vihara, invite the Buddha to come to my house? So what happened? The son dropped by the Ajivaka's temple on the way, even before he goes to Jetaram. Then Ajivaka asked, where are you heading to? He said, I am going to the Buddhist temple because my mom asked me to invite the Buddha. He said, you don't have to go there. He said to Ajivaka, no, if I didn't go, my mom will scold me. So she will scold me, so I have to go there. Okay, in that case, you go there, invite the Buddha over there, but don't tell the location of your house. Right? So then our plan is, when the Buddha cannot come to your house, I will come to your house, I and you will eat the food that your mom will be preparing for the Buddha. Such a very lowly plan, right? So, but so then now the son is like in a dilemma. You know, on one side, mother is asking him to go. On the other side, the temple that they used to go, the guru is trying to pressurize him. Okay, then he said, okay, I will do the same thing. He went to the temple, he asked, invite the Buddha, but he did not mention the place, because as per the request of the Ajivaka. Then in the following morning, this Paveya Ajivaka came to the house earlier. Now, because now he's thinking we can eat the food, right? So then the mother didn't know this plan, this behind plan. Then she said, can you go to another area of the house? You just stay there. In the meantime, Buddha came, because nobody can deceive the Buddha. Once he, got dressed with the monks, so he went to the house. And then what happened? The lady doesn't know anything about it. She said, okay, the plan is working now. So she offered food. And then now, after the dana, after Buddha had his dana, now, in Buddhism, it is imperative for all monks to give a Dhamma talk after receiving food. That is a must in the Vinaya books, actually, because that is to appreciate for the dana. And then what happened? Now Buddha started giving the Dhamma. In the meantime, this Ajivaka interrupted, came into the area of the Dhammapada. And he started blaming the lady. What kind of a bad woman are you? This is not necessary. I told you, you shouldn't have done it. And he started blaming the lady. Buddha was there. And then she told the Buddha, Bhante, I cannot concentrate my mind because lots of blames here. And I think I'm out of my mind now because I'm really hurt because of this blame. Then the Buddha said this stanza, the paresam vilomani, the paresam katakata, attano avikya katanya. So the meaning is that the Buddha said, don't worry about other people's what you call false charges, not the real charge, false charges. Instead of that, also, don't worry about what they have done, what they haven't done. But please focus on what you have been doing, what you have taught, what you have been engaging. And then what happened at the end of that situation, at the time, she became a Sotapan. Right? So this is the story. So I think we have to look at this story as a catalyst for us to understand how to process certain challenges in our life. I think this goes to different areas. One thing is that how to deal with difficult people. I think we have to go to metta for that, definitely, because metta is the most important thing that we have to understand with regard to managing our difficult situation. Now, what is being asked by the Buddha with the stanza is that try to focus on what you have done and what you haven't done. But how to get there actually? Now, let me ask you, when somebody is picking on you in your family, among your family circles, at work, outside, how are you going to survive with the Dhamma? A lot of people, they cannot survive with Dhamma. They lost in the Dhamma at that point. Right? Then after some time, they come back to Dhamma. Right? So how to survive a negative situation with the Dhamma? You can think that the blame and the pain is very intense. It's like coming, it's very, very stringent, very, very much, I would say, very visceral kind of attack is happening with regard to everything. Actually, this blame was happened to this lady, not from someone she did not know, right? This was the guru, the teacher that she used to go and get some advices. When this is happening from that particular teacher, how she would have survived in that kind of thing? She could not, right? So if she were you, then how would you respond? This is the question, right? So then let's look at some of the Dhamma teachings for that. So when someone is falsely accusing you, what could be the thing that we are supposed to do? I mean, it might be depending on different situations. But number one is that we are not going to react to that situation right away. Because normally reactions are the things that people are doing. Because reactions are mostly the same situation that we are going to give back to the same person, other person. So then rather than giving reactions to the person, we are going to look at responses. What kind of a response do I have to do? Now, in this case, what the Buddha was saying is that you could have avoided paying attention to the blame of this particular person, right? But sometimes when you are not paying attention to someone who is blaming you, the person might be doubling, tripling, quadrupling that attack sometime, right? How come you even don't pay attention to me, right? There are different people. But the way how this can work is that you are not going to be reactive, rather than you are going to be responsive in a proper way. Probably not even responding very fast could be a good thing. I think we already discussed about postponing emotions, this idea. Are we sometimes postponing our emotions? Or are we always trying to, replying to those emotions? Say, for instance, you get a very bad email today, bad message from somebody, social media or email. You are not supposed to email back the person at the same time, but you are taking time, right? Perhaps you can take time actually. And then when you take time and you are more calmed down, cool down, and you are giving a good response later. So sometimes we don't have to give a very swift, rapid answer to the person. That's why the Buddha says, Abhitta reta kalyani, papa chitta nivare. The only thing that you have to be quick to do is doing good things. So don't try to be quick to do the bad things. That's why it is said that be slow to your anger. That's a good point, right? Normally people are not slow to their anger. They are very fast to their anger. What about to the metta? Oh, very, very slow. It's like a very dilapidated automobile. It takes time to, it's like a very old type of computer. It takes time to boot, right? Very slow to the metta, very fast to the anger. Very fast to greed, very slow to dana. Right? So you can look at these both sides. That's why the Buddha said in Dhammapada, another stanza, Abhitta reta kalyani, papa chittam nivare. Try to be quick to do good things. How to be quick to do good things? That's a good thing, right? To learn. How to be quick. We are not robots, but how to be quick actually to do good things. What are the good things we can do in our daily life? Let's start from that kind of perspective. I think we already discussed about how to start our day with a mentality of compassion, right? A few weeks ago, we discussed that. You wake up to a compassionate thought. How to wake up with a compassionate thought when you had a bad sleep last night? You could not sleep very well. How to wake up? That's why you have to sleep early. Because sleep and recovery, this is more important than any other thing. Because if you did not sleep, how to practice Dhamma? You are very angry. You are frustrated. Why I couldn't sleep well? So then we understand, don't try to sleep, then you will be able to sleep. When you are ready with other things, right? So you are waking up to compassionate thought like the Buddha. As Buddha is said to come up with the thought early in the morning, who am I going to help out today, right? In good faith and high, great compassion. And also by the evening, he does the same thing. So normally he does it for 2 times. In one compassionate thought, mostly in the morning, he is going outside to help that person. In the evening, he cannot go out because there are people coming. So he stays in the temple. So he might be sending a certain Dhamma image to that, like Matta Kundali. Matta Kundali was abandoned by his father, Adinapupa. And then Buddha sent a certain Buddha image for him. He saw in his deathbed, what is this peaceful person? I've been abandoned by my father. Even my family people did not take care of me. But who is this person? Very peaceful. And the moment he was looking at this Buddha image, he passed away. And he was a Deva after that. Matta Kundali Deva. Right? So he had that way of helping. The Buddha had that way. So we are supposed to incorporate this kind of an idea. Right? So waking up to a compassionate thought, and at least when we are sleeping, sleep into a compassionate thought. Right? Not that somebody did something bad to me, or maybe I'm going to do the same bad thing to that person. Right? So that's why this is a way to look at being quick in doing good things. What are the other good things we can do in our daily life? Right? There are many things that you can think about. You can see, you may have understood them as everyday kindness. Right? There are many things that you can do. So the Buddha says, try to be quick to do good things. Now, one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that the loved ones, right? Loved ones are not going to be with us all the time, especially mother, father, and others in our family, right? So sometimes we are postponing, and that postponing emotion is not a good idea, right? Now we postpone emotions for the bad things, but we should not postpone emotions to the good ones. Say, for instance, you are, or maybe there's someone who is not really keeping up with their family, parents, and then maybe trying to think that I have to be this successful to look at my family, this successful to take care of my family. But one day you hear that they are already gone, they already passed away. So what to do now? Everything will become a certain memory at that point, and then a certain unending frustration, unending remorse, regret about. Now you are very capable of doing anything. You have money and everything, but you can't do anything for them. They are gone already. So that means we have to be quick to do good things for our loved ones. That's very important. At least there are people who are not even expressive about their feelings about loved ones in the proper way. So why is the Buddha is saying, be quick to the good things? Dandang hi karotu punyan papasping ramati mano. If you are lazy in becoming quick to do good things, your mind, your thoughts will get stuck into the unwholesome. That happens. On this side, you are lazy in becoming quick to do good things. On the other side, you are becoming susceptible, vulnerable to the bad things. So this is why we have to understand that the negative moments that we have to deal with in our life. Some people, they have to deal with negativity from morning to evening, right? There are some people, with the people whom they are with. So if we talk to those people, we are telling that if you are a Buddhist, if you really want to follow the Buddha's teachings, you don't have to think about what they are doing to you. You are changing your mindset in how you are looking at their negativity, their activities. Perhaps you are going to focus more on this part, but never blame your karma. That's what many people do. My bad karma. Because why you think it's your bad karma? Look at my friend. They are much better than me. Right? But you never know your friends' ups and downs, probably. Right? But we are only relating to those people very fast. Right? So this is the thing. So that's why negative situations must be understood in a positive mindset, in behaving as a Buddhist. That's number one. Number two is that the Buddha is talking a Pali word in another place called Uparamba Chittata. Let me write that for you. Uparamba Chittata. This means Turn off. Okay, this means intention of finding fault of others. Now, normally we have certain situations that we may have to give a constructive criticism about somebody, right? Maybe a review about somebody. But have you seen people who are always trying to find fault about others? Even how much good they are doing, they are always trying to say something not nice, right? It's very hard to, receive something good, actually, even a small word. Everything is not nice for those people. When you understand they are doing purposely, maybe their character is like that. So Buddha says this is a certain akusala quality. Uparamba chittata. Uparamba means trying to find out other people's faults. The intention is always trying to find fault of other people, right? But you don't have to be mixed up this feeling with certain people's jobs. Say, for instance, people who are finding out who have not paid the tax properly, people who are finding out whether someone has properly done certain things. That's the job. But what if that job has become someone's life narrative? That is going to be a problem, right? So then this person is doing that. So that's why the Buddha was asking this lady to look at this Ajivaka situation. This Ajivaka wanted to find fault about you, but you are going to focus on yourself. On the other hand, you might perhaps think that, what if that when I'm too much self-oriented, do I create a bad self? That's also something you have to be careful. Because Buddhism always tells us to be in moderation. Everything is in moderation, right? Speak in moderation. Eat in moderation. Practice Dhamma in moderation. Now, last Thursday, we were talking a very interesting topic, right? What was it? We were talking Maccharya Kosya's story. In that Maccharya Kosya story, we understood that Kosya was a very stingy person. And in another sutta, Buddha is saying there are 5 types of Maccharya. One of the Maccharya is Dhamma Maccharya. Very interesting. It is called Dhamma Maccharya. Now you will be surprising to learn about this. Dhamma Maccharya. What is Dhamma Maccharya? Dhamma Maccharya means there may be people who learn some Dhamma and who don't like other people learn the same Dhamma that they learned. That is called Dhamma Maccharya. You shouldn't be like that. After PRC class, if somebody asks you, what did you learn today? Feel free to share. You shouldn't be a part of Dhamma Maccharya. Maccharya is not just even about food or the belong. It's about your knowledge, everything. So that means definitely we are here to understand this balance. This moderation is very important. That means when it comes to taking care of oneself, because self-care is very important, the Buddha asks us to look at what he call self-care without developing a certain selfish area, overly selfish about it. Or the Buddha said that we shouldn't be overly altruistic. I think you may have heard about altruism. Altruism means what you call mudita, right? Now, mudita here means altruism. But what about extreme altruism? I mean, you might be talking about Gandhi or maybe Teresa, but we are talking here about somebody as a Buddhist, how to look at any practice without falling into any excessive areas, because that is what we call as Majjhima Patipada, Noble Eightfold Path. So, while the Buddha is asking here to take care of oneself, he's also asking not to fall into a certain ego, because ego is another problem. Don't tap into the ego, rather maintain yourself without being a part of that ego. Also, when you are helping out other people, Don't try to be the victim of other people. Then you are blaming such people later on. You are saying, I had an energy vampire. I had somebody who consumed my energy after a long time. And so we have to balance out, right? So we have to work on that. I mean, looking at oneself, looking at what I have been doing during the day, what I have done, what I have not done. This is what the Buddha is asking to practice. Asking us to practice. Now, on the other hand, we understand, are we doing this every day? At the end of the day, before we sleep, are we doing this kind of a reality check? What have I been doing today? What have I not been doing today in terms of kusala practices? So this is a good question that we have to ask before we sleep. Because this might be our last sleep probably. We never know in Buddhism, right? So then we have to make sure that we have been doing kusala or akusala. And the biggest reason why people are into akusala is they have ayoniso manasikara, unwise attention. That's why they are doing akusala. You don't need to be surprised. Even you do an akusala, for whatever the reason, you have to think that it is because of ayoniso manasikara. Ayoniso means you have not been able to look at it from the full experience, full spectrum of the problem. So you look at a certain fraction of that problem, that phenomenon. So then, finally, what the Buddha is asking us is, look at what you have done and what you haven't done, rather than looking at what other people have done, what other people not have done. But this also does not tell us to become very insensitive to other people. Now, you might see that then we can become not compassionate enough. I'm not looking at other people, right? I'm not caring other people. No. It doesn't say something like that. This is about somebody who is giving you negativity, bad things. So how to survive in those moments of blatant, I would say, terrible, blames. Now, let's take another example. Remember how Buddha was attacked by Devadatta. It's a very good thing, right? Now, Devadatta's story is pretty interesting because Devadatta was always looking for an opportunity. So he's the perfect opportunistic. But please understand, Devadatta will become the Buddha, one of the Pacceka Buddhas in the future, right? This is what we hear. After he will pay for all his akusala karma, he will become a Pacceka Buddha. So that means in Buddhism, nobody is bad, huh? Right? Unless you are attaining Nibbana, nobody is good also. Until you attain Nibbana, we cannot say everybody is good because everybody is differently good, but till you hit the Nibbana, you can be bad at certain point. So that's why the spiritual journey is something that is a free space, that we are not labeling anybody. You are a good person, you are a bad person, things like that. So Devadatta always wanted to find out, the monk Devadatta, find out a certain fault of the Buddha. Why he thought he can become the Buddha if he can do something wrong to the Buddha. Every time Buddha found out what he was doing, a couple of times he advised him, and after that he did not advise him, and he wanted to take other monks into his own and creating another sect, right? And then finally, what happened when monk Devadatta was very sick? Then he told his followers, "I want to see the Buddha." Then his follower monk said, "No, don't go and see him, because now we already came with you. What are you doing? Are you putting us into a certain risk?" Then he said, "No, I want to see him." Then they said to monk Devadatta, "Buddha is not giving metta to you anymore because you had harmed him a lot." Then what he said was very interesting, monk Devadatta, just before he passed away. He said to his fellow monks, the Buddha had same loving kindness to a couple of people. Vadake Deva, he had the same loving kindness to his son Rahula, and then what you call the elephant Nalagiri, and then Angulimala and Devadatta myself. His metta to all of us is same. So Buddha will not drop me. I want to see him. Then Buddha overheard, Shakyamuni Buddha overheard that he's coming. He said he will not be able to make it. He will be dying before he is touching Jetwanaram. So the idea here is that how the Buddha dealt with monk Devadatta. He dealt with Devadatta in a way that he did not even declare the highest punishment to him, right? You know, Buddhism has the highest punishment to somebody. The highest punishment in Buddhism is what you call excommunication. The Buddha was asking some monks, all the monks, not to talk to one other monk. Who got this punishment? Channa, Channa, Channa. Monk Channa got it. Monk Channa was not a bad person. Right? He was not as bad as Monk Devadatta. But Buddha did not declare that on Monk Devadatta. The reason is that Monk Devadatta will not be able to understand who he is until he passed away. So he dealt with negative people by understanding their situation differently. And Monk Chanda's situation, Monk Chanda was always blaming the Buddha. You know, I was the one who helped you, but you did not give me a top position in the Sangha hierarchy. And the Buddha said, I'm not giving positions just by looking at who helped me. I'm giving to the right person, the most deserved person. And Arahant Sariputta, Arahant Mokkalla are the most deserved ones for this fellowship. So that's why I give them, not the ones who I know before, right? So no nepotism, no favoritism, giving this to the right person. So he managed. And then what happened? Monk Chanda did not listen to the Buddha. The Buddha said, from one day onwards, nobody is going to talk to Monk Chanda. And this was actually active till the Buddha passed away, and it was released when first Sangha and first council was held. So once again, looking back, what we are learning today is that in our life, if we are more focusing on healthy aspects of our self-care, we can survive the moments of negativity. Negativity is normal. Don't try to hate it, because we have to understand it. The problem is that we label this is positivity, this is negativity, right? We are people who are starting our days with morning vibes, are listening to positive songs, all that, looking at positive people and all that. But once, all of a sudden, a negative person shows up. Then you are thinking, today I saw the negative person. My whole day will be a bad day. Those superstitions are going to hold us back, right? Rather than just getting distracted by such things, you are thinking that whatever the things come into my life, I'm going to move on in a positive way, because positivity is not that we are trying to create positivity in that perspective, material way, rather than every moment can be a potential moment of positivity. So that's how Buddha is asking, you don't have to focus on Paviya Ajivaka's blame here. You focus on what I have been telling you. And then you are going to really get through this moment of time. On the other hand, we also have to think about how are we going to be influenced from the negative people. Because Buddha also said that we can avoid negative people, right? Now, Ajivaka was a bad choice that she made, right? Maybe that was the first temple that she went. But can we minimize our negativity? We can, right? How did the Buddha ask us to minimize, reduce our negativity in our life? We have to go back to the Mangala Sutta. What did the Buddha say in the Mangala Sutta? Asevana cha balanan panditanam cha seva. This is the first thing to do. Actually, how to create blessings in our life. They are not things that other people can do to us. We have to create our blessings. Number one, asevana cha balanan. That means we have to we have to distance from the unwise people. So it's a choice. No, say for instance, somebody who has been with unwise people now claiming that I have lots of negativity, and you could have made a choice. Maybe you have not, you were not, I mean, access to certain proper Dhamma teachings by that time. So that means we can make choices to cut down negativity in some ways, especially the bad friends and bad choice. But there are things that we cannot change. Let's say you are in a relationship already, your family, then you have to get going. Right? How to get going in that kind of situation? We are trying to understand this person, because we can't walk away, rather than understand the situation, but not trying to blame you that this is my bad karma. Never ever give a validation to you that you have done a bad karma. Why? How do you know you have done a bad karma? You might say, because it's very painful to me. Right? That's the only thing you know. But we never know whether it is a bad karma or maybe it happened due to another reason. We don't know. So then we don't have to paint it with the karma baggage. Right? Perhaps we can change the situation in a way. Now we know that there are many situations where Buddha asks us to change. I mean, when you change the situation, you will be happy. Now, think about the Akkosaka Bharadwaja story. A Brahmin who wanted to blame the Buddha. You know what he did? Before he left the house, he was telling how to blame the Buddha when he went there. He thought, I think he's a part of Ajivakas too. He was going to blame the Buddha. There's no effort, there's no energy, virya, there is no enthusiasm. So he was thinking, now crafting his thoughts to blame the Buddha. So when he went there, he started blaming the Buddha. What did the Buddha say? You are not a Buddhist, you have to leave here. No, he didn't say anything. He was patient, listening to the person. Sometimes when you are listening to the person who is blaming you without any reason, it can help that person to stop the blame in a way. So now, after he blamed for some time, then the Buddha asked, are you done with your blame? Then he said, yes. He's an intellectual Brahmin. Then the Buddha asked a question. Can I ask some question? He said, yes. Maybe he let him ask questions because he was listening to him, right? For the last couple of minutes. And then he asked, the Buddha asked from him, dear Brahmin, Akkosaka Brahmin, are visitors coming to your house time to time? I said, yes, I'm a very hospitable person. So many visitors are coming to my house. Thus, I'm a very good person to treat people. I have lots of snacks, food in my house. I treat everybody who come to my house. Then the Buddha asked, what if that the visitors who are going to come to your house are to say that we just had our lunch, breakfast, brunch, supper, or dinner? What are you going to do with those foods? Don't worry, we have lots of people in the house, so we're going to have those food. Then Buddha was just spending a moment of time and asking, okay, now you today gave me a nice treat of blame. I don't want to accept it. Can you please take it back? Then the Brahmin was understanding the metaphor, how the Buddha used that thing. Then he understood that what he did was really not nice to the Buddha. So he withdrew the blame. He withdrew the treat of blame from the Buddha. So that means we can be nice to a bad person sometimes, and then to convince that person what you are doing is not nice. If we really have to do that, for the most part, we can ignore. But sometimes ignoring might escalate the problem. We have to approach the person. So there are many ways to look at it. Buddhism provides many answers to handling negative person. do negative person come from out of family or inside family? So then this stanza, let's go and take a look one more time. Clearly says that when the negativity is coming to you from other people, you don't have to dwell on the fault that they are trying to direct on you. You don't have to always look at what they are doing to you, rather than try to reflect on your action. Actually, on the other hand, what the Buddha is saying is here is that be careful. Now, negativity is here. Be careful how you respond to the person, isn't it? On the other hand, you be like, you are okay and you more focus on what you are doing. At the same time, you have to be careful on what you are going to say after that. This is the very difficult thing to many people. And then a lot of people, when they cannot take care of themselves, they talk even worse than the original bad person. And then telling them, you are the one who started this fight. So I have to protect myself. I have to defend myself. And then it's going to be like a, hot pot at the end. We never know that where things are going to get. So that means we need to understand how we are going to respond. Better to be silent. Better to walk away. Better to find out a very calm, quiet answer. More importantly, if you can distance these people earlier, you could have done it earlier. We are calling them as Papa methods. All right, I think we will end at this point, this talk area, and then we will get a question. We have a question over here. How about someone who does not like to share dana opportunity with others? Okay. So then we have to say that is Dhanamacharya. Because that is Dhammamacharya, right? That means you know a lot of Dhamma. When other people are asking you, you are not happy to share Dhamma. Because you think that tonight you can become a Sotapanna by not sharing Dhamma with that person. That is Macharya. And feel free to share Dhamma, anybody. But share with the right person, right? Don't share with the wrong person. Sometimes, wrong person means it's not going to be effective. But if it's a general advice, share with anybody. Dhamma is for anybody. It's a borderless, universal thing. You cannot make it like that kind of small. So now, if you say that there are people who don't want to share the Dhan opportunity, actually this is something that we personally observe. Now, in many temples, there are 30 days, 30 breakfast dana people, and 30 lunch dana people. So now the problem is, someone passed away, but they are not a monthly donor. Okay? Another devotee who is not giving dana for breakfast or lunch, his or her mother or father passed away. Now he or she has to give a dana. So then call in the temple, or finally the person has to call the donor. The donor says, no, we have another opportunity. This is our moment. We can't give it to you. Actually, if you are really following the Dhamma, this is double happiness, It's a greater happiness coming from this person. Maybe you are going to say, I'm going to give my dhan to you. So you go and offer this dhan. That's the way, right? Because you are creating another dhan opportunity within your dhan opportunity. So if people cannot go to that kind of idea, what I can say is that either they are not properly instructed for the dana by whoever the speakers. On the other hand, even they were instructed, they are lost in their dana practice. But the real way is that it is Macharya. It is called Macharya. Another thing is that if the monthly donor really wants to give the dana, that person can say, okay, you also can join with us. There's no harm. But rejecting, saying that you can't join our dana, these are really not Dhamma way of looking at, Dhamma way of practicing dana. These are certain cultural, temple-specific ways of giving dana, which we have to transcend. I think we are not in that kind of a world anymore. We have to be open-minded. We have to learn true Dhamma. True Dhamma says, if you are having the opportunity to give dana, if you can give to another person the same opportunity, that is a greater dana, because you are creating double dana in that. Because earlier you were supposed to give dana to 5 monks. Now you are giving that dana to another person. So you are giving 6 persons dana, 5 monks and another person. So you are trying to create, more merits, more good karma. So that's the way how they are supposed to practice. But if it is not happening, sadly speaking, that they have not still, because a lot of people they don't start giving dana by learning what is dana. They are just culturally going to the temple and then giving dana. Finally, they are doing like this, as you say. They have been stuck to certain marginalized dana practices because they have not learned dana and started giving dana. Rather than they were giving dana and then here and there they pick up certain Dhamma teachings. That's why. Otherwise, I think a person who understands will never do that. Okay, we're getting more questions. How to cultivate compassion daily to daily by practicing 5 precepts, Dhamma, listening to Dhamma. Now, 5 precepts is your daily practice. Dana is part of it. Listening to Dhamma is also part of the practice. Now, are you asking how to bring compassion to this overall practice, or how to do all these things every day? That's my question. If you're asking that how to do all these things in your daily life, that means you should you understanding the proper Dhamma with the Noble Eightfold Path, you know that all these activities are part of the Noble Eightfold Path. That's why you are engaging in the practice. Your catalyst, your motivation catalyst is not the Noble Eightfold Path. That's why you have to do them, at different times, daily, weekly, monthly. And then, how do we deal with the sociopath? Someone who lies and has no regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. It depends on different people. There are different sociopaths. And we don't know whether this is a very close person to you, or maybe somebody who is in your relationship, or somebody that you have seen elsewhere that you don't have a direct connection. So sociopaths have a problem with regard to their neuro activities, right? It's not just somebody was bad because of the behavior or genetics. So there is a certain neurochemical problem. So then we have to get going. We have to deal with them in the proper way. I mean, how to talk to them. I mean, it depends on what kind of interactions you are having with them. Is it in the house? Is it outside work? Then maybe you are trying to find out more wise ways to deal with them. But number one is compassion. Understand, this is a sociopath. So whatever the actions he or she is doing, we don't have to worry about it. When we are dealing with a mentally sick person, are we naturally coming up with compassion? And the compassion that is buried somewhere also is coming out at that point. Because why? He's blaming you. He's a mentally sick person. Don't worry about it. So why don't you have the same compassion for the real people? Now, so if the sociopath is talking to you, understand him. What about a normal person is going to do the same thing? How to bring compassion at that point? So that is what we learned today with this Napare Sangvilumani Stansan, how to survive in that effort. So the ways and means are very different depending on different people in that state. Last one here. I went for breakfast dana. The food clashes with the frequent dana donor. And she was not happy. In such case, is it better not to do the dana? It's also a very case-specific thing. What I'm saying is, once again, not many people got to give in dana by learning what dana is. It's like parents are going to raise the first child. Did they have experience before? I think they are raising the second child better than the first child. Why? They are learning on the raising itself. So this is why I'm telling that this particular, many people, when they are giving dana activities, a lot of them have not properly had access to proper dana teachings. I mean, I would say Dakina Vibhanga Sutta and many other suttas. I mean, we don't hear that these suttas are being discussed also elsewhere. What they say is that bring dana, when you bring dana, give dana, you get merits and you can be reborn in a good place. This is the normal narrative. But not many people are talking how to give dana with certain circumstances, especially when there is a dana culture, donors culture in the temple, 30 breakfast donors, 30 lunch donors, how to allow another person in her or his emergency situation to give a dana. How compassionate are we supposed to be? I think this has to be addressed by the relevant monastic members in the temple, so then the community will understand that. We have to let them do. I mean, how to give your dana to somebody, right? So in this case, as you said, the particular donor, you said she was not happy. Maybe she was thinking, I prepared everything by myself. I want to give it in my own way. That means you are giving dana with having some sakkaya ditthi, right? Finally, I mean, this is my dana. See, my dana is better than other people's dana. You know, 21st October dana is better than 23rd dana. That's my dana. So I mean, all these are bringing another level of sakkaya ditthi. Then you better not give dana and stay home, because you are creating another sakkaya ditthi by giving dana, right? One by the other. Why you are going to the temple? To minimize your akusala. Then why you are trying to create more akusala by doing a good thing? So this is the problem. So we need to bring this simple understanding to many people. So if you're asking a situation now, you can't blame anybody. If the lady is not happy, just don't bother her. Let her give the dana the way she wants, but understand the true way to give it. So then you know that this is how you're supposed to give. Okay, we will take one question here and then we will ask the audience. It's very interesting that the lady follower attained Sotapanna stage by listening to this. Yes, because Buddha was next to Ali. Any question from the audience here? Yeah. With regard to today's Dhammapada stanza about how to deal with a very difficult person or any other things. Till you come up with a question. I think our dana culture with regard to places and other places have to be more compassionate. Now, devotees are very compassionate to Sangha members, and Sangha members are very compassionate to devotees. But what about devotees? Our devotees are compassionate enough to other devotees? Now, this is a question. I think we have to address that, especially from the monastic background, Dhamma talks, and then the culture in the Dhamma. Rather than that, this is something that I give, and by giving this, I will go to the heaven, you know. Going beyond this kind of a very minimal understanding, we have to create lots of compassion to everybody, right? That will itself become a bodhisattva thought as well. Okay, any questions? A moment of time. If not, we're going to transfer the good karmas in a moment of time. Looks like there are no questions. So we are going to transfer the good karmas at this point. We've been discussing today the 50th stanza of the Dhammapada, which reflected experiences in our life to deal with people who are giving us a difficult time. And then especially Buddha is asking us to think about how to respond to this person and then to continue that particular moment, how to break free from taking revenge and then doing the same thing, bringing back the same bad thing to the other person. So then that is how the story is telling us, and the stanza is giving us that valuable opportunity. So may all the good karmas we be making today be transferred to all the deceased loved ones who passed away in the name of us, in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi nyati nang huntu sukita huntu nyatayu. Idammi nyati nang huntu sukita huntu nyatayu. Idammi nyati nang huntu sukita huntu nyatayu. At the same time, we are going to reflect upon all the good karmas, to give those good karmas to Devanaga Mahindika. May Devanaga Mahindika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they bless all of us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May they bless our Dhamma journeys to become seamless, constant Dhamma journeys. May they finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi samvatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi samvatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi samvatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu sasanam. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanam. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhang tumang parang chirang rakhang tumang sadati. At the end of any good karma, be that dana, sila, bhavana, we are going to continue our wish to be surrounded with Kalyana Mitras till we attain Nibbana. May more Kalyana Mitras come to our life. May our existing active Kalyana Mitra friendships continue, and then be deepened all the time. Thinking thus, we are going to make the wish. Imina punya kamena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hutu yavanibbana pattaya. Finally, may all the good karmas we've been making today on our 74th day, 50th Dhammapada stanza be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silisa nichang vadha prachaino chattaru dhamma vadhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarugya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha atu nibbana sampatti iminati samikshatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With those blessings, wishing you a pleasant good night till we see next Thursday at the same time.
Thank you very much, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Everyone.
Sadhu,
Brothers, sisters. Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu. Bye bye.
Thank
Sadhu.
you, Bhante. Sadhu. Sadhu.
Thank you.
Sadhu.
See you.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Take care. Good night.
Good night.